What's going on with a bunch of crazed dogs?
My camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Boom! What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush, where we talk Giants football pretty much every single Monday, 52 weeks of the year. Yeah, there's a week here and there that we're not here, but for the most part, we're here, locked in, talking Giants football. And of course, this week, we got Carl Banks with us, which is pretty cool. We're just talking some shop with him about some college football. Two-time Super Bowl champion, Hall of Fame, Michigan State. You guys know him. He's up in the booth there with Bob Papa every Sunday. And we got him. I've got Sean. I've got Chris. We're going to talk a bunch of stuff. What we're going to talk about? Talk about Odell. We'll talk about Abdul Carter getting hurt. Maybe we'll touch on the linebackers. I know Sean wants to talk some linebacker play. We'll definitely ask him about like the D tackles. Like, is this a patch job or do we feel pretty comfortable? So without further ado, let's bring in Sean.
You can call me.
Bro, we got Carl Banks here.
I know we do. I can't wait. I say this all the time, and it's just surreal for me. You know, watching him as a teenager, big fan, and now to be able to talk with him live on the show, it's surreal for me, man. I love it. I get excited every time he comes on.
I know, super cool, right? Like, especially when I watch him on Sundays, like as a kid sitting in the stadium, it's like, and then you get to hang out with him, get some insight from him. Let's bring in Chris.
No Coach Steve Austin, he is the man. Well, the Cats to toughen up is over here and give themselves a beer bath.
Chris, I'm bringing in Carl Banks. So you control yourself. Yeah. I know you guys get all goofy.
Absolutely.
Get all goofy, all right?
Yeah, and hey, you left that all-decade team, 1980s. Come on, that's a big part, right?
I know if I start reading all the accolades, we'll be here all
That's a big
night
one,
long.
though. That's a big one, all decade. We're not talking one season.
Ring of Honor?
Years. We could add that, of course.
I know. Mr. Banks, how are you, my friend? How are you, Carl?
I lost sound. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you,
Carl.
I can't hear anything. Hold on. I hate this. Here we go. Hold on.
What happened to Carl? We had him.
Hold on.
Maybe the earbuds. What's up? I see a couple guys. You guys are piling in the room. What's up, Joe? What's up, Alex? Hey, Daniel. Mr. Kessler, how are you?
I got you guys now.
Oh,
Awesome.
There we go.
Right.
What's up? How are you, Mr. Banks?
I'm good. All of a sudden, I'm like, what happened? I had you guys and then I lost you.
No, we're here, man. We're here. I was just making fun of the guys that, you know, it's been a pleasure over the years. Well, one, we've always you come on every year with us. You always give us some good insight. These guys get all giddy and it's fun to watch. I mean, look, you had a great career, and now you're watching some other guys have great careers. Mm-hmm. And I always, you know, you're pretty cool, calm, and collected on Twitter with all these people. I never really get the heat you take the keyboard warriors, all that stuff. I was like, I guess you people haven't stood next to this man before because he's still a big dude and will still beat your ass. I don't understand why you have to show all this disrespect. But putting that aside, it's a new year, new coach, a lot of cool things happening. Let's start off just today. Today, minicamp. Abdul Carter gets hurt. Did you get any? I mean, I don't know how if you're there during the day or you're just hanging around, like getting reports, like any news on Carter.
From what I understand, it's just a sprained ankle. And that happens, I think we would rather have that happen now than during the season. So listen, this has been by all accounts their toughest off season. These players, I spoke with Kayvon Thibodeau at the town hall about a month ago. And he was like, bro, I get in shape and I know I'm in, great shape every year. He's like, this is as hard as I've ever worked. Okay. And according to Harbaugh, he's like, this is what real NFL teams do. Welcome. Right? So, and the thing about that, and I said this when they first hired Coach Harbaugh, I said, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to walk across glass. But I think 99% of them will embrace this, and because they want to know how to win, what it takes to win, and the type of team you have to be. And, for guys that have been on this roster for a few years, it's a culture shock to them. And, but they're embracing it. And I said 99% of these guys would do it because they talk about wanting to win and being tired of losing. And the 1% that didn't, for whatever reason, he didn't want to be here. He's in Cincinnati now, right? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say that's interesting because I was going to ask you. I didn't even know if it's something that fans look at things different than players do. It's just a thing, right? Mm-hmm. Is it like, I guess, appropriate for the fans to be pissed off that he didn't thank them? Is that a thing? Because you see a lot of players do it, and he has been the face of the franchise for 6 years. There's a ton of 97 jerseys walking around that arena. Yeah. I don't know one person on the planet that didn't like that cat up until 3 months ago, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of a thing? Like, again, maybe it's fans just crying in their milk.
It's a thing. But I'm going to give Dexter some grace and let him work through whatever he's working through, because at the heart of things, Dexter Lawrence is a good human being. Yeah. He's a fun-loving guy. He's hurt by the organization, but that shouldn't be taken out on the fans. But I think at some point he will circle back and thank this fan base. Whether he's going to thank the organization or not, we don't know. But these fans should always, especially in this day and age with the money players make, and they embraced him. And he's a good human being.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good kid, and so I'm going to give him grace, let him work through whatever emotions he's got to work through. But I think this fan base, you're going to have to accept it, better late than never. But I think he is going to, at some point, acknowledge this fan base and the people that really brought a smile to his face. He didn't like, what was going on with the organization, and this fan base stuck by him, until they didn't. But that's how fandom goes.
Right. Well, let me bring it back full circle that we went with that, Carl. The reason why we got Dexter is now back with the New York Giants. And I know you were really banging the drum for him to come back here.
Yeah.
So what are expectations, realistic expectations to him? What kind of impact realistically can he make this team? And why were you banging the drum for him so hard?
I think he can make the team. He can make the team better. He can make the wide receivers better. Those are the expectations. I'm not expecting vintage Odell from, 8 years ago. Yeah. I'm expecting a guy who's going to show up and compete. He's going to know the playbook. He's going to know his routes. He's going to catch the football.
Right.
And he's going to show a guy like Jalen Hyatt, who's kind of, his scholarship is about to be taken away if he doesn't step up. Like Jalen Hyatt walked in the door with speed and good ball skills, and none of that has been on display.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't get on the field, right? He's got a clean slate. But the beautiful part about having a team that's a competitive team, a team that is going to contend for something, having a clean slate don't mean jack. It means you get a chance to compete, and guess what? The stakes are higher. The competition is tougher. Like that's how you build a championship team. You look around the room and you say, okay, who can I beat out here? And you'd be like, okay, I'm gonna have to work to beat any of these guys out, right? You got youth on your side, but you don't have production on your side. You got guys who have been producers, but I think he brings those things to the organization. And I also think he's a guy that will help fine-tune Malik Neighbors. Like young Malik Neighbors, this Malik Neighbors was young Odell Beckham.
Okay.
Right? I had Malachi Fields is his coach Denbrock, and he coached Malik. And he's, when he was at LSU.
Right.
And he described Malik. And if he didn't say Malik Neighbors' name, you'd have thought he was talking about Odell Beckham. Just dying to win, emotions just pour over in the quest to win.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's got to be, crafted.
Massaged.
Yeah,
harnessed.
and that was Odell. But now you have Odell here in that locker room who can help him navigate that. Right. And so it's like, putting a governor on a motorcycle just to keep it fine-tuned just the way you want it. But he's going to help in that regard. But when you watch his practice habits, when you watch, the things that he does when nobody's watching, but he just does them anyway, you'll know why he's on the roster. He's gonna, rising tide lifts all boats. And listen, if he doesn't make the team, okay, he had the opportunity, but he's gonna make that room better.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna compete, and he's a competitive guy. That's why I know, he's going to be an asset for the organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And by all accounts, it looks like he might have already had an impact with Hyatt, because Hyatt had some really good catches today, things he hasn't done in the past. So I know it's early, but seems like maybe an early impact that Odell has had on Hyatt already.
Well, I mean, he's going to impact the entire room. Yeah, watching him practice, watching his routes. Like when you look at some of the stuff the team is posting just in drills, just the disciplined route running, he's a pro's pro. And here's the thing about it. He was a one of one.
Yeah.
Right. He's an elite.
Right.
Right. So you're looking at elite football skills. He may not be as fast as he was, but he can still catch the football. He still knows how to run routes. He still knows how to manipulate a defender. These are all the little subtleties that made him who he is. He's still elite in a lot of regards.
Right.
Is there somebody looking over their shoulder now that he's there? Because
They're looking around the room. Yeah, I mean,
it's a deep room, man. There's got to be 12 of them in there.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, well, you might be looking around saying, well, I hope if I play well in the preseason, somebody will pick me up. But it's like, yeah, everybody's looking around the room. But that's what championship caliber teams have. Right. And we didn't have free agency, but if you look at my linebacker room as a rookie, I walked in and I'm like, it's a lot of good damn players here, and guys I didn't know about are very good, like Andy Head and like Byron Hunt. I was looking, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do what I do. And so for those young players that are trying to figure it out, it's, the training wheels are off. Malachi Fields wasn't drafted because they needed just a tall guy. They needed receivers. They needed good players. And if you think you're a good player on that roster, you haven't shown enough because they drafted somebody. And then they brought in 3 other guys in Barrio, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Odell Beckham. So obviously they don't think it's highly of the room, and they thought it could use a boost and use some competition.
Chris, you had a Slayton question, didn't you?
Yeah, Carl, there's been a lot of talk about maybe Neighbors going on the PUP list, and we don't know yet. But if that were to happen, he'll miss 4 games, doesn't count against the roster. That'll leave an open spot. Darius Slayton, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Beckham. Obviously, those guys would play more of an important role. With Slayton, who should Slayton really be most concerned about that's on his heels moving into training camp?
Nobody. I think with Darius Slayton, what people don't realize, like, where was he drafted?
Fifth round.
5th round, right? Yeah. So he's already exceeded expectations, right? Yeah. But now that, and this is not an excuse for him, it's actually a knock on him. But now that you have exceeded expectations, there's a new expectation, right? And that new expectation is catch the goddamn ball, right? But the one thing I know about Darius Slayton is that he's got the qualities that will help your team, meaning he's tough-minded, he prepares well, he knows his assignments, he can get open. Now, the crucial part of that job is to catch the football, right? That's
crucial spots. Yeah.
Right. So the training wheels is off there for him, but I know he's going to work at that, right? He's going to be that guy who's going to work rep for rep with a guy like Odell. Now, he doesn't have Odell's skill set, but the thing is, he's got to now accept the fact that you've exceeded expectations, but now you're here and there's another level of expectation because they call plays, you get open, you got to now catch it. Like when you don't catch it, that's the reason why you're a 5th round draft choice. But the fact that you're open and it's, you getting your hands on balls, you got to catch those. But he knows that too. But the thing that impresses me most about him is that he's going to work at it. And he's smart. He's always in shape as well, but he's got to worry about him. I don't think a guy like Schuster, if all things are equal, he won't beat Slayton out. If Slayton catches the balls that they throw to him, he's not beating them out, right? So he's a staple. But I think fans have to level set a little bit with him. I think he gave us a lot that says he can do more, but then when he didn't, he gets dragged a bit, and that's on him. It's on him. But then you say to yourself, a guy like me say to myself, well, that's why he's a 5th round draft choice, right? Yeah. And how about this, Craig? To your point, 5th round draft choices have to make the team every year.
Every year,
right? So who should he be worried? He's worried about him.
Yeah,
right. Because if you're a 5th or 6th round draft choice and he's gotten paid and he earned that money, by the way, he earned that.
He did get paid, right?
He got
$12 million base salary.
Yeah, and he earned that. But however, that again takes you to the expectation conversation.
Yeah.
Right. You exceeded expectations and you got money. Now there's a different expectation. You gotta meet that. If not, you're just a 5th round draft choice that's got to make the team. And they will cut you if you don't live up to what your expectations are.
And when Neighbors is hurt, that room has looked really thin. So you're turning to a 5th round draft pick and you're like, please, we need some dynamic plays. And when it doesn't happen right away, I think the words that you use were he gets dragged because you have high expectations of him.
Right. But they've kind of gave him a little bit of cushion by having a guy like Malachi Fields on the roster now. That gives them some help. So the responsibilities will be distributed a little differently. In must-have-it situations, it's probably going to be Odell Beckham or Isaiah Likely.
Yeah.
Right. And then Malachi, they're going to, he's going to have some advantageous opportunities for himself. But Slayton's going to be a crucial part of the offense, but he won't be the focal point, of must have it. When you must have it, you have an Isaiah Likely now, who, by the way, there's a reason why he's on the roster when they have such a talented young tight end who can't catch the football. Right?
You hear that, Sean? You hear what he said?
I'm not. He's young.
No.
So he's
we have some fun every week, Carl, because I'm always like, Theo looks the part, like you carved him out of rock, but you need him to catch the ball.
Right. And again, he's a young player. And where was Theo drafted?
Fourth round.
There's a reason why, right?
Right.
Fourth round, there's some inconsistency.
Yes.
Right. But now you're in the pool with everybody. And if you can get open, you got to catch them. That's your advantage. They call them in this league, they call them because they think they work. Right. Yeah. And when you're open, that means the play call worked. You just got to finish it and catch the football. So, but Isaiah Likely's on this roster because the inconsistencies of what they have at tight end.
Yeah.
Theo I think he's got tremendous upside. And you don't throw him away after 1 year, by the way. You look for him to get better. And that was the one thing I appreciated with Mike Pope. And he's done the same thing in developing tight ends in Dallas for years. But he would take guys and turn them into really good football players or great football players. And because he worked on the things that they were weak at. And I think you'll see that with this coaching staff that you didn't see in the past, because, I had a conversation with Coach Harbaugh, and we talked about, how coaches are not as invested as they should be with players. And it's like, and I call it the TV dinner mentality. A lot of people don't know what TV dinners are, but it's like you serve it up, it's already prepared, and here you go.
Right. Yeah. Right? A lot of just run lonely nights with your TV dinner.
Right. Yeah. Just run what's on this card, right? Or you just put that in and you eat what's in that tray. But you got to develop players. And that's one thing that his coaching staff is big with. If you look at Bernard Wilson, the way he coaches, and Matt Nagy and those guys, they're developing players. And they've developed the talents of the player.
That's a good segue too, Carl, because I was going to ask you about Bernard Wilson. We're all pumped up for him, right? Especially some of the comments that he's made over the last 3 months have been like spot on, right? Just what we're looking for. So 2-part question, and guys, you guys can jump in too, is one is, so the linebacker play, they bring back McFadden, they bring in Edmonds, they draft
Reese.
Yep. Yeah, so you've got these three guys, and I thought they did a nice job of keeping homegrown talent with McFadden instead of letting him walk out the door. He gets a prove-it year, and they paid him $3.75 million. It wasn't like he got veteran minimum. So we got 3 really good linebackers, which we haven't had in a while, and then of course the D line. So the 2-part question is, what's your expectations out of these linebackers? Like, do you see like McFadden just basically becoming your backup third guy? Do you see a rotation in there? And then the D-line, is this more of a patchwork, or do you got confidence that these 3 new guys up front can do the job?
Well, I think it's a matter of the system, right? It's what you lost in Dexter Lawrence when he was good for the Giants. That's not replaceable. The production, what you want, what your goals are each week or for the season, is you want to be good against the run. They were not good against the run with Dexter, right? So the emphasis now is to be better than they were last year. I think the guys that they have in DJ Reader, Harris, you got Roberts, Darius Alexander, and Roy Robinson Harris hurts that he's out.
Yeah.
And I suspect they'll probably add another big somewhere inside. But they're going to scheme this thing so they can stop the run. I think they are going. It's not patchwork. DJ Reader is not a patchwork guy, right? He's a production guy. But it's going to be a combination of that front seven and maybe a front eight at times, because they will have some configurations where you're going to have Burns, Thibodeau, Abdul Carter on the field, and you'll have Edmonds, and you'll have Arvell Reese, and then you might have two defensive linemen. So the reason they can do that is the underrated aspect of Kayvon Thibodeau, especially, is his ability to play the run. He holds up well in the run game. I know that we've seen Brian Burns. We see his work, right, because he's available. Yeah. But when Kayvon Thibodeau is available and healthy, he holds up really well. He's got great hands, good footwork, plays the point of attack, very physical. So they don't, if they decide to swap some guys out and you got all these skill positions standing up at the line of scrimmage, you don't know what the configuration is if you're an offensive lineman, because if you say, okay, well, they're just going to put all these linebackers in the game and take the bigs out and they think they're going to run, these guys hold up. And then, with the quickness of Abdul Carter, he makes guys miss at point blank range. If you put him over a guard, good luck to the guard, because he just makes you miss, especially when he knows his movement is already pre-designed or predetermined. He can give you a lot of stuff and end up where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you're happy with what they have and you feel it's going to be improved. I'm actually more excited about Denard Wilson, if anything.
Well, he's a really good coach. He's an old school thinker in terms of the mentality that he wants his players to play with. He does not accept mistakes. He's coaching them as they happen and not in the film room. And if that means taking a guy out of practice because he told him how to do it and the guy still screwed it up and he yanks him out of practice, he does that. But he coaches and corrects in real time. And that's the only way players learn. They learn through repetition. They don't learn through making a mistake, going to the meeting room, waking up the next morning to see if they got it. If you have time to correct it in real time and put them back out there to see if they get it right the next time, great. And then in the meeting room, you correct technique, right? You don't correct assignment. So I like the way he coaches his guys.
Yeah.
And you know what else, Carl? Something that's gotten overlooked is Charlie Bullen returning as one of the linebacker coaches and working with Wilson. So what a great benefit, for Wilson to have Bullen right there in his back pocket, who saw it and you saw the creativity once Bowen was gone, what Bullen tried to do, and we saw the difference with that.
Yeah, the bull has got to be the most fortunate guy on earth because he inherited the most skill on the defense, right? The best players on defense are in his room, so he's living a charmed life right now. And the only thing, as Bill Belichick would say, I can't screw this up because you guys are too good. That's it. And if you don't play well, I screwed you up. So
I've heard you got the keys for the Ferrari, just don't crash it.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. So Carl, Brian Burns came out, had some really high praise individually for Arvell Reese and Kayvon Thibodeau today, and then some really high praise for Edmonds and Reese together as a unit. What have you kind of seen so far with those guys? And it seems to me like this linebacker crew, the 4 or 5, could be really special together. And the focus is more on the linebackers again, like back in your day when that 3-4, that was kind of the focus. So what's kind of your thoughts on those guys and how good Reese's looked early on?
Well, the one thing you notice about this group, they're playing a different style of football. They're big, they're tall, they're rangy, right? They're not short guys. They're not the short, quick guys that defensive coordinators thought they needed to match up with spread offenses and, these offenses. Now, because and this is an observation on my part, we're evolving the quarterback position. Some of these guys are aging out, and the new guys haven't quite come of age yet. So you see teams running the football more, right? And they figure they can run it more because you got these little guys on the field, these little nickel and dime packages trying to match up with the outside guys, but the inside guys never change. The offensive linemen don't get smaller, right? But you keep putting your little guys out there thinking, hey, we just got to go out and get matched up outside. And these offensive coordinators said, okay, well, our bigs are going to be out here, so let's just run the football. And even the teams that could pass the ball, like the Buffalo Bills, I think Cooks had 1,500 yards rushing and Josh had 4,000 yards passing. So you've got to be able to stop that. And, you know, when you have a 6'5", 240-pound linebacker in Tremaine Edmonds and, you know, 6'4", 240 in Arvell Reese, and then, you know, 250 and 250 on each edge, you cooking with gas, you know, because they don't play big. They play fast. You know, they play fast, they play strong. They're not plotters. So I think that is the thing that you really are going to have to appreciate about the way they built this linebacking core.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting, especially when you lose 5 games with 10 minutes left on the clock and you can't shut anything down. I think now, you know, if you put today's team on the field last year, you may win 3 out of 5 of those games.
Correct.
Yeah. It is it's close to 8 o'clock, Carl. I don't want to make you late forever. You have to go. So my last, you guys got a last question for him because I don't want to make him late to where he needs to go.
No, you go ahead and ask your last question, Craig. You are the king.
One thing, Craig. Carl, were you a little surprised that, and this goes to conditioning, the way Harbaugh wants to run things, how he's going down to Miami? They're going from West Virginia to Miami to do the joint practices, which, you know, those fourth quarters, as you know, is when they need to, be able to finish through. Were you surprised that that's actually, they're doing that or no?
No, I think it's the competition. They need to be, you know, battle tested, and the best way to do that is to give them, you know, competition outside of guys they see every day.
Well, it's getting a nice trip, Chris. I'll tell you that. I mean, you know,
they're not 2 degrees, which will be great. They'll definitely be ready. They'll be ready for week 1 after that.
Yeah, exactly.
I might have to make that drive to go watch them.
These guys are going to find something to do. They're in Miami. My biggest question is what I love right now, which we didn't have in the past, and maybe we had a little bit last year. It started to get better, but there was a time between, let's say, I don't know, 98 and 2000 and not 98, like 2000 to 2003, all the way up until recently, the last 10 years, not enough competition, guys getting given spots, right?
Think about that, though. That's a great point and it's a great point to end on, because we always found ourselves the last 5 or 6 years talking about who was going to start. And our starters were basically backups on other teams.
Yep.
And think about that. Like, you didn't talk the depth that the Giants have now.
Yeah.
Were probably starters 6 years ago on this team as backups. The backups would be starters, and they wouldn't have anything behind them.
Nothing.
And Craig,
you know,
if I could,
we're celebrating some B level or C level free agent because we didn't have money to get anybody good.
I can remember going into camp with like 1 center, 1 guard, you know, 2 tight ends, and I'm always like, who's competing for these positions? Are you handing these out?
We celebrate. We convinced ourselves that Nate Solder, and it's nothing against Nate Solder, but he wasn't good when he got here.
Yeah.
We rewind the clock and say, well, he was good 2 years ago, and he had an off year because he had, you know, his I think his child was sick or something like that. But he should be back up, and he never was. He never got back.
Yep.
And Carl, look at that initial 53. When that 53 roster is named, that last for that final cut, and then there was other cuts happen. That's how I always gauge that depth is, wow, they got the
Yeah.
initial 53, but then they cut another 5 to replace with guys on waivers from other teams. And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're finally at a point where we're not going to see too much of that anymore.
Right. But the offense has gotten, I think, outpaced the defense in terms of talent. I think Joe Shane has done a pretty good job of getting production out of his draft choices on offense, and defensively. I'm expecting a guy like Tyler Nubin to bounce back.
Yep.
I know the cornerback position is going to be competitive. And I said this, and I'll say it over and over again. I would be shocked if Deonte Banks did not get himself together and really compete, because
Okay.
I refuse to believe that this guy will settle for having a career as a returner, a glorified returner.
Fair
He's
enough.
so much more than that. And I think he's in a system now that is conducive. It's similar to Wink Martindale, so it's conducive to his aggressiveness. And he's a big physical kid. I think he's going to compete. I don't think, Adebo, Colton Hood is drafted. That doesn't mean he's going to start right away.
Yeah.
Right.
Newsome.
But there's going to be at Newsome, there's going to be, vigorous competition, and that's going to produce a great defensive backfield for them. Adebo was inconsistent, and he dealt with some injuries. So we'll see. And then, Holland and Nubin and Pinnock back there, they're going to battle it out too. So I'm excited about that.
Where's the competition? That's where I was going with that question. Was we gave a lot of jobs out over the years. Now we got competition. If you had to just give me one room, where's the biggest? All right.
Cornerback and wide receiver.
There you go. So that whole Phillips, Adebo, Banks, Newsome, Hood.
Yep.
Those guys are going to get after it.
Yep.
And then the wide receiver room. Okay. All right. Because I was thinking, I'm like, we some linemen in the mix here. But okay. Sean, would you agree that because we've talked about it before, that prior to this season, we were like, you could go out there and play corner for this team.
I would agree. And to Carl's point, the amount of people they added in both those rooms, wide receiver and DB, tells you that there's going to be a huge competition. And even guys that don't make the roster are going to make the guys who make the roster better. And even the backups are going to make the starters better, right, Carl?
That's right.
That's what
Guys,
competition
I got to
is.
run.
Yeah,
Thank
I know,
you,
Carl.
Carl.
Listen, we'll catch up with you before the season starts. Thanks
All
for hanging out with us, my friend.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks,
All right, Carl.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Turnabout's fair play, by the way, Craig. Did you hear how he said that Kayvon is good against the run? Let's just, since you got me on Theo, you heard how he talked about Kayvon against the run, right? I just want to make sure you caught that. You caught that, right? Chris, you caught that? You heard
I did
that,
catch
right?
that.
You did catch that, right?
I did
Okay,
catch
all right.
that. I did catch
Just wanted
that.
to have a little turnabout
That's it.
fair play right here, my friend.
Fair enough. It's all fair in love and war, man.
Hey, Sean, I want to go off of what Sean said a couple of weeks ago. Made a great point. Our Darius Washington competing with Drew Phillips at that slot spot. So there's another spot that's not really talked about. Is there's going to be that competition after Phillips coming over a down year, and you have Washington coming in, who's a big hitter, likes to play physical in the slot.
and
So there's some competition right there, which will be great.
And I knew that was going to happen the minute they signed him. And I think Joan and I were on by ourselves one week, and we were talking about it because Denard Wilson is just known for running three safeties, but taking the slot off the
bringing
field.
them down,
and bringing them down. Yeah. So the minute they signed Washington, it was a sign to say, hey guys, this is how this is going to work. Holland and Nubin, you better step up your game or I'll replace you with Washington. But that's not what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like what I want to do is I want Washington on the field to to push Phillips.
Yeah, and Phillips fits well because he's a physical corner himself.
Correct, but he's not he's not a deep guy.
No,
where Washington is. So
right.
I think early on we kind of identified that, and it won't get talked about until the season starts and Washington makes his first big play. Everybody's going to be like, "Who's this guy?"
Yeah. When we talk about, because he was a starter in Baltimore, he worked his way up. He was a starter in Baltimore. Like that's a big sign. He got injured, but that's a big sign. And we talked about. You're right, Greg. We talked about the moment. Listen, we are first with a lot of things when it comes to players. So
I'm going on record for that. Like I sometimes get like, we don't get a lot of credit, dude. We have been talking about this specific scenario from the minute he signed. It was,
I remember.
There's your third safety, because I followed Denard Wilson at Tennessee. I was kind of curious on like when his name was getting tossed around a little bit. I'm like, oh, this cat likes a 3 safety look. I literally put the work in to watch a ton of YouTube on people talking about the Tennessee defense, and everything came back that he loves running 3 safety sets. So at the time, it was just us talking smack.
Yeah.
Until he signed Washington, and I was like, there we go. So yeah, we do know we are paying attention to the little nuances there. And I appreciate Carl stopping by. Normally he would hang out with us longer, but he has a Knicks event he's hosting. So we'll see if we can get him back on before the season starts. I like a couple of things he said about the wide receiver room. Odell is going to make this room better, but not maybe necessarily in the way you think. It's going to be, what's he doing when nobody's looking? Well, how is he? And we know for a fact, like, again, I'm not an Odell guy anymore. I was an Odell guy, but I'm not a big Odell guy now. I want to like Odell again.
Did you like his press conference last week?
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
I mean, he was very humble. He came across very humble.
Like, there wasn't anything. Like, again, I don't have my thing about Odell is he was one of my favorite players of all time until he turned into be a jackass with the whole Eli thing and that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't want him to be traded.
No,
you know what I mean?
You could tell he's grown up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. I support that holistically that he's grown up. But I'm thinking about what he brings in the table, because I've said this before. Since I've been watching the Giants, the most two dynamic players I'd ever seen play for the Giants is Lawrence Taylor and Odell Beckham. I haven't seen anybody that dynamic. Right. And dynamic is a word that gets tossed around a lot. But
Tiki Barber was sort of dynamic. He was close.
He was. But remember, he came into the league as a scat back, too small, Virginia Tech returner. Right. He got that LASIK eye surgery that changed the way he saw the field. And he started to get really patient with the ball, right? But Odell is still twice as more dynamic, or 2 times more dynamic than Tiki. And Tiki was great
too, right?
So now I'm sitting here and I'm like, I think one of the things the Giants have missed since Odell and Shepard are great routes. I used to really appreciate Odell for the time and effort he put into running an amazing route. I mean, the cat could run a 3-move route. Not a lot of guys could run 3-move routes. I mean, and he could do it. So bringing that to the room is something for me. And I hope Neighbors comes back healthy, because Neighbors will run way better routes if he's playing with Odell.
Yeah, I agree. And well, before I kind of go into what I've seen from Odell and talk about that, we got to make sure we give a shout out to Joseph Clark. I know he did this when Carl was on, but a nice donation from Joseph talking about how we met him, when the type of player. It's at 737, Craig. There you go. So yeah, Joseph, we want to get that up there. We appreciate you, my man. Awesome to kind of share that with us and do that. So yeah, we appreciate you. So we didn't want that to go unnoticed by everyone. But yeah, I mean, if you've watched the videos, talk about this route running, which is things that I've said on this show numerous times when we were talking about should Odell come back. It is, to me, watching the videos, it is clear to see that right now he stands out when it comes to route running. And I know even with Neighbors coming back, I think he would still stand out. It would be him and Neighbors, right? Oh yeah. So and he does not look, I'll say this, he does not look washed at all. I'm actually surprised how fast and quick he is looking out there. Now, is he Odell of 2000? No, but he's far from Ross from what I'm seeing. Now, let's see what he does with pads and if he gets injured. But I think he's lighter now, too. He looks like a thinner Odell, which could help with those injuries. But his route running, his hands, and his quickness, I think a lot of people are surprised. If they're looking at it with true eyes watching the video, they'll see that he's not washed.
Odell still, I mean, I never thought and this is, again, this is observation. This isn't throwing shade at Neighbors. I never thought Neighbors was a great route runner. I just never did. I thought he rounded a lot of routes, and early on, he was kind of a body catcher. And then as the year went on, he got more experience and he got better at it. But Odell was a great route runner from day one.
Yeah.
I mean, from day one, he was blowing guys. And in fact, I was actually a fan of Sterling Shepard. I thought, for what Sterling Shepard was. Sterling Shepard's not the receiver Sterling Shepard is without Odell.
Right.
Because they're boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Odell will make Malik better and I'm hoping he comes back, healthy and he can play, because I'm super excited to see what he could do learning from Odell. And I'm sure Odell will have his place. I don't see him getting more than 5 to 7 snaps a game, but if he does, great. That means he's playing well and he's getting open, right?
I do find it interesting. Carl mentioned OBJ as a go-to guy. He mentioned Likely and OBJ as a go-to guy.
There's a definition. Go-to doesn't mean 9-10 balls. It could easily mean I need a big play. I'm going to Likely. I'm going to Odell.
I know. But I still find it interesting that he was the guy he mentioned, the only receiver that he mentioned, and then the other guy was Likely, which we talked about. Isaiah Likely is the number 2 target on this team. And everybody else falls into place.
If Neighbors isn't on the field, Likely might be the number 1 guy.
Right.
Yeah, he might be.
Right.
But no, I'm happier than I thought I would be. I want to give Odell as much chance as possible, and I think him and Dart got a nice connection, right?
Dart wanted him on his team. Like that, Harbaugh said as much. He's like, he wasn't pushy about it, but he definitely wanted Beckham on this team. So if the quarterback wants him,
and it's going to be great competition with Odell and our cornerbacks, because the Giants cornerbacks, that was one of the weak spots, right? So the level of competition that Odell will have, it's not going to be like he's playing one of the best units on the team. It's going to be kind of leveled off a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see how he does against those corners that maybe aren't, one of the strengths right now. Right now, I want to say the strengths.
Segue to something
Once the pads go on.
We need a segue call. What did Carl say that surprised you? Because I'm going to ask you guys, see if you can guess. Carl was on with us for maybe 32 minutes, 35 minutes. We started a little early in case anybody wants to know. I'm going to ask you first, Chris. He said something that I was like, what? Like I was like, because do you know what that is? What that one statement
I don't know, but I thought was, and I know Slayton was a 5th-round pick, but there are 5th-round picks that will catch the ball on 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 when you need it. The knock on Slayton, I mean, you're an NFL receiver, though it just seems like those big plays, you just can't count on them. When you need them the most. And that's where we've seen these Slayton drops. But Slayton's a great person, right? Great guy. But I feel like we do give him a little bit of a pass because of his personality and how nice of a guy.
Okay, now.
I think I have a good guess. I have a good guess.
Good point. Not what I was thinking.
I think
that might be number 2 that,
I think my guess is that he's giving Dexter Lawrence a pass on.
Nope.
No. Wow. Okay.
No, because I actually appreciated that he said that, because I didn't want to be like, wah, woe is me. One of our favorite players.
Well, he was hard on Dexter last year, rightfully so. Not like mean, but I'm kind of surprised. To me, I was kind of surprised he said that too, that like he was giving Dexter a pass for that.
Is it Thibodeau?
Nope.
No. Maybe that's where you're going.
No, I don't listen. I'm the first guy to tell you that I don't like Thibodeau as a pass rusher, and I don't like Thibodeau, but he's never on the field.
Right.
Like I don't dislike Giants, but I get disappointed in guys that are never healthy.
Well, listen, where he got drafted, we expected more, right? For where he got drafted.
Yeah.
People think it's like a personal thing. I'm like, dude, I want all these guys to succeed. It's my team, right? But
Craig was surprised. He said Thibodeau was good against the run. That's where Craig was surprised.
I was. By the way, that was still not. It's still not what I'm surprised about. But when he did say that, I was like,
I mean,
go ahead. What is
the guy's got like 1.5 tackles a game. Come on. You guys still. He said one thing that I thought was like, it shocked me. I was like, really? Nothing
about a player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I gave really good guesses. I mean, I said the one about OBJ being a go-to guy, Dexter Lawrence, and then that thing. So I don't know.
Deontay Banks.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Good
That's
job,
it.
Chris.
We'll see
He
once the
said
pads
he
go
could-
on, right?
He said he was going to expect them to compete.
Well, yeah, I think Harbaugh is just going to bring out, and Wilson will bring out probably the best in him that we've seen since Wayne, because it's going to be
but
similar.
we haven't
type of-
seen anything out of this dude in 2 years.
Yeah, but
Well,
his rookie year, we were high on
his
him.
rookie
we were high
year.
on him
Yeah,
rookie
his
year. We
rookie
were like,
year.
oh, he's the guy. We were set at corner, and then there was the drop off.
Yeah.
It just, the scheme changed, the philosophy changed. He
Man.
I wouldn't say he
He's
became
bad.
a dog, but he wouldn't put his head in there. He wouldn't want to tackle. Maybe that all
Right.
flips. Maybe it all flips.
I mean, watching him like Ole tackles, like Ole, letting guys
But
go
if you didn't have a
fire.
coach holding you accountable, if you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like now you have coaches that are doing that. And
yeah.
the last couple practices, he's made some plays from reports that I'm reading. Like some
If
really
I'm
good
lumping
plays.
Hood, Newsome, and Banks in there at the CB2, I'm not choosing Banks as my first guy. There's no way. I just don't see it.
Well, that's why these
No,
joint
but-
practices are going to say a lot too.
No, but competing doesn't mean he's going to start and have a chance to start. It just means he's not going to lie down. He's going to compete. He still could be cornerback 5, but he's not going to not give effort. I think is what
I
he's
don't know.
going to
Yeah.
compete to try to win it. Like I that's how I took it anyway. I don't think he took it to say he could be CB2. I think he was saying he's got a clean slate, so he's going to compete to try to be CB2, but doesn't mean he's going to be CB2.
Listen, we heard for the longest time, Harbaugh wants guys here that love the game of football and want to play. Now, there was questions about Banks whether he really does like to play and loves the game. So maybe that's a little bit of a call out, and we'll see that flip.
Yeah, I'm saying that Hood's the starter by midseason.
Okay.
I mean, he could start day one, honestly. He's got a
Yeah, but
shot.
I don't know with
Yeah.
signing Newsome. With signing Newsome to me and keeping Banks sounds like I'm going to let the vets try to battle it out. But if you don't, the kid's going to step in.
Could be. I would not surprise me if Hood plays well enough. It would not surprise me if he started week 1. That's what I'll say to that. I'm surprised that Jalen Hyatt gave the effort that he's given so far in doing clean slate. Now, again, doesn't mean he's going to make the team, but I mean,
That's so
from
sad
what I
to
read
say
today,
that.
listen,
Wait a second.
he did something he hasn't done since he's been here. He actually
No,
cut-
every camp
he
they
made a
say he
contested
flashes.
catch. He made a
Oh.
contested catch. He hasn't done that in any practice since he's been here.
It's
I was
horrible.
like, oh,
Horrible
okay.
effect. There's no messing around.
I don't know. I kind of
That's
remember
what I mean.
camp, everybody going, oh, Hyatt looks bigger. He looks stronger. He looks this. And every year he's a dud. I kind of always think like,
Yeah, but nobody said that he looks bigger, looks stronger.
Can he
They
block
actually
downfield?
fucking-
Because Harbaugh wants his receivers. You said it, Sean, with Malachi Fields. Guys that can block downfield. And that'll be
Yeah.
a big part of Hyatt making this team.
He-
Will he be
he
able to
made
show
it-
that?
He made a contested catch. He got away with a little bit of a push off. The refs didn't call it. Actual NFL refs. Which how many times did we see him
Oh,
try to do a
see
push
him,
off and
yes.
even come close to making a catch?
Right.
So he's done that today. And I guess he had another nice catch later in practice today as well. So again, I'm not saying he's going to make it. I don't know. I'm just saying he's done a couple things so far that he has not done since he's been here. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if sometimes this guy.
Was that against Rico Payton? Was that against
we
Rico
all
Payton?
played, right? Sometimes you just need coaches who push you to be better. Like
Yeah.
by all accounts, they kind of ran a country club here for a while. So if nobody was pushing them, they weren't expecting it.
Oh my goodness.
Again,
all
don't
right,
mistake what I'm
let's,
saying. I don't see him making the team per se, but
let's play a
he gives
little.
an effort.
Let's play a little game here real quick before the next game.
Mhm.
Chris, Jalen Hyatt or Mooney?
Oh my God. Not even close. Mooney.
yeah,
He's got a
Sean.
resume.
Sean,
yeah.
Jalen Hyatt or Austin?
Ooh.
Really, Sean?
Yeah, well, listen, Austin doesn't have a great resume.
Today's
but
practice really got you thinking.
I know, no. I mean, of course I'm going Austin, but I'm just saying
Okay.
Austin doesn't have great production.
We're just playing a game. Chris, Jalen Hyatt,
Mhm.
Juju.
Oh, I'm going with Juju. Just as I think even Sean brought this up last week. His drop rate is ridiculous. His catch rate.
Of which he had a big time drop today at practice.
Well,
Well,
that's
that's like, oh,
practice.
he's not making the team. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, he dropped the ball. At
I'm
practice.
going with the veteran that you can trust.
Yeah.
I'm going with Schuster.
Sean,
Yeah.
Hyatt, Berrios.
I gotta go Barris just because of special teams.
Yeah. And place the slot, which you're going to see Likely in there too. But I think
I don't think
Barris
Barris should be in the slot. I don't think Harbaugh wants or Nagy want a small slot.
Well, Gunner, right? I mean, that was really.
I don't think he was gonna. Yeah, he wasn't gonna play much though.
I don't know. I mean, you don't think? I
Even
think
Gunner
Barris
had a
could
good
be
game.
better than Gunner as a receiver.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's my thing. I think Likely's going to play the slot, and then they may move. If they keep Juju, he may play the slot, or Fields might line up in the slot. I think they want a bigger slot guy.
Yeah, and we've said it all along. We're going to see a lot of double tight end, maybe 22 personnel. It's going to eliminate that extra.
Exactly right. So
Especially if Neighbors is out.
And Neighbors could be in the slot too. They could line them up all over the field to get mismatches for
Love
them.
it.
You never
Move them
know.
all around, right?
Right.
Mhm.
I guess the moral of the story is that I just gave you a scenario of Hyatt versus 4 other receivers, and you chose 4 other receivers over him.
Right. But if he has a good practice and a good camp, who knows? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And my only point was saying this was not to advocate for him to make the team, but saying that Harbaugh and Odell are having an impact already because guys are competing. Guys are doing things that they hadn't done before, specifically Deontay Banks and Jalen Hyatt.
Yep. And the other thing with Hyatt is he's a good soldier. Let's say he plays hard, he works hard, he just doesn't make the team. I mean, remember, if he gets cut, a team has to add him to their 53 roster. It doesn't mean he can't clear and then end up on the practice squad.
Exactly.
If it's close.
He probably needs a new fresh coat of paint, to be honest with you.
Right.
It just, too many head coaches, too many offensive coordinators, too many playbooks, too many things are written on the wall for the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Wishing him the best. I think he needs a new coat of paint. All right, so that's all. And then the defensive line, he's comfortable with it. It feels a little thin to me.
Not when you look at it, it's not. Again, we're expecting that D line to be what Dexter Lawrence was, and they don't need to be.
All right,
the focus is going to be on the linebackers. You
Time
have
out.
enough.
Hold on. Wait, what's that? Your first point is expectations should not be the same. Like the sack, because Dexter Lawrence could sack the quarterback. I'm talking just purely like from a rotational standpoint, because the big guys, very few big guys are in there, 90 snaps, or whatever. I'm shooting 90% of the snaps. Do we have enough rotational guys on the roster? Because where we have had issue is Dexter comes off, you put in 2 guys that can't play and they run all over you. Dexter comes in, Dexter's tired, they run, and they get run over. Then Dexter goes out, you put in two guys that replace him. Like, do we have outside of Reader, do we have enough players?
Yeah, I think so. You got Lakey Fotu, you got Jamison Taylor out of Auburn, the rookie.
Shelby Harris.
I know there's bodies there.
Harris hurts a lot. Yeah, but no, from what I'm reading too, the rookie out of Auburn has been batting balls down. So he's been doing pretty good. So I don't think could we use maybe one other guy with Roy Robertson Harrison going, but I think they just signed somebody too, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think they're as thin as people are saying, and I don't need them to be all studs. I just need them to take on blocks and get double teams. And from all accounts, that's what these guys do. So I'm good with it. I think that's what I'm talking about expectations. I think too many fans are expecting the D line to be the focal point of this defense, and it's not. It's the linebackers and the safeties. And I think fans have to readjust their thinking of you can win with a D line like this. And DJ Rader is no slouch. I mean, the amount of I think he was second only Dexter with double teams last year, and not by much.
Chris, what's the expectations out of Darius Alexander this year?
I think big expectations. We saw him come on later on in the season after missing training camp, and then he had an injury. So I think high expectations. Then when you factor in, once again, Shelby Harris, DJ Reader, Darius Alexander.
Is Golston still on the roster?
Golston's still there, which, he plays a little bit of end, right? A little bit of end and a little inside. So, I think there is some depth there. I think the sum of its parts, and we even saw last year with Lawrence when he was out of the game, the running, stopping the run actually improved. And that was with DJ Davidson, who's no longer on the team. So
Yeah.
I think we've improved, actually. I think Lawrence is just such a focal point in the middle. But I think the sum of the parts, we actually might be a little bit better in stopping the run. Not rushing maybe up the middle, pass rush interior-wise, but hey, that's why he's going to free up the guys in the back end, right?
Giants overall are, I don't know if they're a better team. I'm hoping they're a better team, but they're a different team. They're going to be a different style of football. We already know they're going to, as Sean's mentioned a bunch of times about that they want to run the ball. Carl just basically said, like, hey, if teams are going to put small linebackers out there, we're going to run at you. So there are teams out there that have small linebackers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. If you have nothing to do, go scour the rosters of the other 31 teams. Look at the interior linemen. Look at that depth chart and see who might be let go. There are going to be guys out there that you're going to be surprised about. It always happens, right? There's always a few that seem to squeak through that you didn't expect. So, and Giants are third on the waiver wire until week 3. So that's a good thing. They can pick up some decent guys if they are released early.
What happens after week 3?
Then it goes back to the normal record. The current standings.
I don't think I knew that. It's good info. All right, well, that's pretty much all we're gonna do today. Knicks are on. I know you cats want to go watch that. That's probably why where everyone is right now anyway, right? Because there's it's been you guys. I brought Carl Banks on, but it's been a low.
Yeah, it's all because of the Knicks.
They'll get the rewind. That's all.
You'll get a lot. Yeah, we'll get a lot of people watching it tomorrow, I'm sure.
Oh, there's a good one for you, Craig. The Rush Rewind after the live show. The Rush Rewind.
I like it. We can do that then. You need to do like a recap in front of the podcast.
And as a graphic, use an old VHS tape. The guys our age would understand what that is. And just the Rush Rewind on a VHS tape.
Yeah. They don't even know what DVDs are.
That's bad. Wow, we are old. Oh my God.
Yeah. Kids don't even know what DVDs are. They don't even know what Walkmen are anymore.
No,
Chris,
come on. A Walkman, yeah, DVD. I mean, really?
I'm telling you right now.
That bad?
Yeah.
So South Jersey kids by you. That's why. They're
no, your son does not know what a DVD is.
Well, he's 20. He's going to be 20.
No, not Grant. You're little.
Oh, the other one? I think that's a good question. I'll have to ask him.
You have to let us know.
Here we go.
Where he is now.
Let's go.
Well, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll be back next Monday. There'll be more mini camp stories probably that'll bubble up this week. Find out how hurt Carter is. Carl said that it's good it happens now. I was kind of like, yes, but you hope it doesn't linger. Sometimes those ankles linger on you, so
you got 6 weeks, rest up.
6 weeks, rest up. So, and I think they've gotten a little bit of day. Went to a trip to New York, so they got to get out and do some new things. I don't know. It's Harbaugh's wearing the Knicks hat in the press conferences. So as much as it's been quiet, it's been a good offseason, I think, all the way around outside of the Dexter thing. So we'll be back next week. We'll talk some football. Otherwise, we're out.